Hi, in today's video we will take a very detailed and thorough look at the professions in Corepunk. We will talk about how exactly to level them up, discuss what to pay attention to, and examine all nuances associated with them. You often asked in the comments to add the timestamps to a video, so now they are available in the description below the video. Feel free to use them. Additionally, a small remark. Every day I deal with topical steroid withdrawal syndrome, which significantly affects my skin and especially my face. I hope this doesn't bother you too much. Let's not delay and get straight to the analysis. At the beginning, a bit of background on profession for those who have no idea how this component of Corepunk is structured and who are new to the game. During crafting activities, you may notice that there are increasing percentage next to them, which you might initially mistake for leveling up your skill. However, this is not entirely accurate. In this MMORPG, there are two separate progress bars for leveling your profession, and depending on which one we are talking about, the results differ. At the top of your profession's menu, there is a bar with points that fill up as you engage in a specific craft. These points are earned through activities related to that particular profession. When you fill the bar completely, you advance to the next level of that profession. The progression starts from 0 and then the tiers gradually increase. It's important to know that what actually increases is the tier or level of your skills within the chosen profession. What does this give you? Each new level unlocks the ability to learn new recipes. For example, at level 0 you can only learn first tier recipes. At level 1 you can learn first and second tier recipes. At level 2, recipes from tiers 1, 2 and 3 become available. Currently, further crafting progression doesn't provide additional benefits, but in the distant future developers plan to introduce more recipe tiers. Therefore, this principle will likely remain unchanged. So, what are these percentages? The percentages represent your character's efficiency in performing a particular craft. Here's how it works. There is a separate efficiency scale of 100% for gathering professions and another for crafting professions. When you engage in any craft, you gain percentage points that increase your efficiency in that activity. It's important to note that 100% is the maximum. However, if you work on two crafts simultaneously, the efficiency can be split, such as 50-50 or 40-60 and so on. Currently, it's crucial to level at least one profession to 100%. As this grants bonuses. For example, gathering professions with 100 efficiency can obtain higher quality regions and can gather the same resource multiple times more effectively, starting from 1 gather at lower percentages up to 6 times at 100%, resulting in significantly more regions. For crafting professions, bonuses are more exclusive and depend on the specific craft. For instance, there might be a reduced chance of item breakage during crafting or an increased chance to produce higher quality items. Thus, the ultimate goal of leveling up your character is to reach 100% efficiency in one gathering profession and 100% in one crafting profession. At the same time, it is the tier within the craft which unlocks access to new recipes that can be at level 2 or higher for all professions. By the way, keep in mind that efficiency can be locked. To do this, you need to click on the log icon next to the chosen profession. After that, you can work on all the crafts without losing your percentage, but you will start receiving penalties. When gathering, mana will be consumed, and during crafting, a fixed amount of gold will be deducted for each craft. The first question we need to address is about gathering profession. Currently, there are 4 types available: mining, logging, herbalism, and butchery. Let's discuss each of these crafts in detail based on the current game realities. Mining is a profession that allows you to gather all existing ores in the game. The regions you collect will be needed across all crafting professions, which is a distinctive feature of Corepunk. It's important to understand that unlike some other professions, regions from mining are literally required by everyone. Currently, ore gathering is the best way to earn a stable income on a regular basis. This is because the reagents produced these crafts are not only used in gear creation, but are also actively utilized in alchemy, as well as in the production of runes and chips. Importantly, rune creation is one of the most resource-intensive elements of gameplay, yet it is needed by absolutely everyone. This significantly increases the value of resources mined by miners, which benefits miners by raising the market price of their gathered materials. Moreover, alongside the steady above-average demand for reagents, there is also a relative ease of obtaining them. You don't need to venture into the labyrinths with elite enemies to acquire truly valuable resources. Instead, you can stay in much safer locations. For this reason, mining is a good choice for those who want to earn steady profit from their craft. Logging is a profession that, as you might guess from its name, allows you to harvest wood. The logs you gather are actively used for making campfires, which are essential for all classes to gain bonuses from food, since these bonuses can also be obtained while sitting at a campfire, and for producing jewelry wood. Jewelry wood is the core resource of this profession because it's required both for creating a range of vital consumables in alchemy and has increased demand across all the crafts. It's also needed in large quantities of leveling up the mysticism profession. The problem is that to gather this resource you need to collect a specific type of tree, stone bark, which can also drop many other reagents that are currently completely useless because they are used in recipes for casters who aren't present in Corepunk at that moment. As a result, we have a paradox. This craft gathers a wide range of very important resources and can afford to harvest one of the most expensive epic regions, blood honey. But using it as your main profession would be a mistake. Why? Because earning stable and effective income from it isn't feasible due to highly random chances of finding suitable trees and obtaining valuable resources from them. Consequently, you should only take it if you are playing in team where all professions are pre-assigned and is designated for breaking down certain role bosses into resources. Herbalism is a profession that allows your character to gather various herbs, and it is currently one of the most complex crafts in the game. The reason is that mastering herbalism enables you to fully level up alchemy without using any other professions. Additionally, herbalism itself gathers one of the most in-demand ingredients today, the petrified spike. There are quite a lot of petrified spikes to collect, and if you know where to gather them, you can earn a good income because they are required in many recipes across the game. They will be in demand for the most popular artifacts, weapons, chips, runes, and even alchemical consumables. For this reason, herbalism seems attractive. However, there is a nuance. Most other regions are almost worthless. Technically, by engaging in herbalism, you can meet all your herb needs as an alchemist, and even earn decent money while having another profession, since petrified spikes always find buyers at a very good price. On the other hand, don't forget about world bosses. Some of them can be dismantled into epic regions using herbalism. If you play in a steady group or have the ability to kill these bosses solo, you could potentially earn additional profit. In practice, however, this craft yields less income than mining and is more situational. So yes, you can choose it as your main profession, but keep in mind that real profits will mainly come from one or two resources at most. Butchery is a profession that allows you to skin almost all animals in the game. There are quite a few creatures in Corepunk with diverse loot drops, but the main advantage of this craft is that it allows you to gather significant quantities of resources needed by all classes. Animal fat obtained from boars is used in cooking because it's needed for making the most popular health-restoring food. The shepherd process from turtles are in huge demand for creating attack power artifacts. The gunners from those same boars are highly sought after by classes that need health items, since gunners are a key region for their crafting. Moreover, butchery allows you to gather the second most expensive blue quality reagent, bear bile, which is used to craft the most common second-tier health potions and also features prominently in creating popular chips for attack speed, making this region extremely important for the game's economy. The second resource is beaten heart, an epic region essential for top-tier alchemy and highly demanded in high-level artifact crafting, chips, rune, and weapons. It is logical to conclude that this given profession would be the best option for earning? Not quite. There is a nuance. Bear bile and beaten hearts are resources you won't be able to gather alone, especially if you're a beginner, while demand for other resources on this list fluctuates significantly. Sometimes players buy ingredients by the dozen or even hundreds per day. Other times there is a little activity. Additionally, because these resource spawn points are fixed, there is a risk of encountering high competition, which also affects potential earnings. What is the current priority order of the professions? The best craft is mining, followed by herbalism in second place, butchery in third, and logging in fourth. There may be some deviations. For example, alchemists benefit greatly from herbalism and constructors from butchery. However, in case of synergy, there are more about nuances rather than strict recommendations that must be followed. The second question we need to consider is about crafting professions. Currently, there are 4 available: mysticism, weaponsmithing, construction, and alchemy. Let's discuss each of these crafts in the current context. Mysticism is a profession that allows you to craft runes, which can later be inserted into artifacts. You can have up 2 active runes at a time. This is the limit in the current update. In the near future, most likely within the next 4 weeks, the profession will also gain the ability to create active runes, which will serve as additional abilities for your character. This means you could potentially access to 6 new abilities. Given the development, natural questions arise. How important is this profession? At the moment, it's difficult to assess its overall importance. However, one thing is clear. Leveling mysticism to level 2 is essential for all players without exception, because access to 30 recipes is a vital necessity, not a luxury. It's important to understand that runes are not in high demand and are not particularly profitable to sell effectively. This is because the game features an overclocked technology, where items receive additional enhancements. Items in an overclocked state cannot be traded or transferred. Runes are no exception. The full reaching level 2 in mysticism is necessary for you personally, because it allows you to craft the best 3rd tier items. However, fully developing this profession from an economic perspective doesn't make much sense, nor does it provide significant benefits for your character's progression. The only exception would be if you are focusing on cooperative play within a fixed group where all crafts are pre-assigned among 4 players. Regarding leveling this profession, the most cost-effective approach currently involves combining 2 recipes, one at tier 1, Dark Horse, and one at tier 2, Antelope. You craft level 1 runes and then upgrade them to level 2. These runes sell well on the auction house because they are needed for full loot activities and aren't very expensive, which helps save regions needed for increasing mastery in this profession. Weaponsmithing is a profession that allows you to craft weapons and chips, which can later be inserted into them. It is a very important profession because it enables the creation of 3rd tier weapons, which cannot be obtained by any other means under any circumstances. Moreover, weaponsmithing constantly produces chips that are actively integrated into weapons, and therefore are in high demand both on the auction house and in your specific case, since armament in this game tends to change. However, leveling it to 100% efficiency doesn't make much sense, as once again an overclocked technology comes into play, which completely negates the purpose of this action. For this reason, we treat it similarly to mysticism and level it up only to the 2nd level to unlock access to 3rd tier recipes. This will be sufficient for comfortable gameplay at that moment and won't require additional expenses from you. It's also worth noting that taking weaponsmithing as your main profession can work when you play in a fixed group, where all professions are evenly distributed among 4 players. Regarding leveling this craft, only 1 recipe is needed: Cyberknuckle. Cyberknuckle is a 1st weapon for a 1st tier shaman, and its recipe is sold in Golden Field. Creating it allows you to quickly and cheaply level this profession. Construction is a profession that enables you to craft artifacts, essentially equipment within the Corepunk world. A few months ago, construction was a key profession for all players, and the majority of users who reached the maximum level focused on leveling it. This was understandable because with its help you could create the best artifacts in the game, making your character stronger than others. However, currently this craft has also become somewhat filler, like all of us, due to an overclocked technology. Therefore, it's only necessary to level it up to the 2nd level, which allows you to study 3rd tier recipes and craft them without much trouble. The exception is when you are part of a fixed group, where professions are pre-assigned among members. As for leveling this craft, it's quite simple, since it is one of the cheapest in the game. The best recipe at that moment is Nina Tissue Tier 1. Crafting it allows you to quickly and inexpensively level this profession and gain access to recipes that interest you. Alchemy is a profession that allows you to craft consumable chemicals that restore health and mana during combat, and temporarily boost your character's abilities. Some of you might be surprised, but for most of the game's existence, alchemy was not needed because many consumables dropped in the open world from boxes, chests, or even world bosses. Moreover, its use was quite limited. There weren't many activities where you could utilize these items effectively. As a result, hoarding chemicals didn't significantly contribute to their value or justified leveling this profession extensively. Gradually, the game developers removed consumables from open-world drops and made them obtainable only through crafting during various activities. Currently, they can only be acquired by crafting recipes. Because of this change, alchemy has become one of the most sought-after crafting professions, especially with the introduction of overclocked chemicals called catalyzed, though their essence remains unchanged. Essentially, these are personal consumables with additional effects that are quite noticeable when used. For this reason, alchemy is now considered one of the best choices for any player. The only exception might be groups, where professions are pre-distributed among members. This situation tends more towards disadvantages rather than advantages for individual players. Regarding leveling, the most budget-friendly option is biogel sachet. However, for long-term benefits, counterfeit painkillers or biosteroid shots are more advantageous. These refer to Tier 1 recipes. What is the current priority order of professions? The best craft, as you might guess, is alchemy. Second place goes to weaponsmithing. Third is construction, and fourth is mysticism. It's important to know that rune creation will become much more significant in the future, so priorities may change. However, for now it's most effective to invest based on the recommendations mentioned above. The third topic we need to consider is about casual or peaceful professions. Currently, only one profession is available: cooking. However, on the game map you can already find a marker from the future fisherman trainer, and within the game itself there are plans for a shrimp and bounty hunter profession. Cooking is the only craft in the game that allows you to produce food that restores health and mana reserves. Until recently, this profession was in low demand because a significant number of consumables dropped in the open world. But now they can only be obtained through crafting professions, which has led to an increased interest in cooking. It's worth noting that this profession currently has no direct efficiency benefits. However, it offers unique bonuses that are not described anywhere else. Therefore, leveling it remains a very profitable activity. The key point is that cooking allows you to create food with positive effects. You can activate these effects by using food at a campfire and waiting until the effect fully wears off. Not many people know that the number of bonuses you can get from food directly depends on your level in this profession. So, until you level it up to 3 stars or tiers, you won't be able to unlock its full potential. Yes, you understood correctly. Reaching level 3 allows you to have 3 active buffs from food simultaneously, which significantly increases any hero's power in the game. As for the most budget-friendly recipe for leveling up this profession, it's just bread. You can also level it through campfires, but this method is much more expensive. Bread requires only wheat flour, which is made from wheat seeds. These seeds are expensive on the auction house. However, there is a trick. Below Goldenfield, there is a trader named Zoltar Blipchain, who sells these seeds at 0.4 coin each, making it quite cheap to level cooking today. What do we conclude? Professions in Corepunk are quite an interesting activity because they differ significantly from what you might be used to seeing in other projects and have much greater depth than usual. Their demand is high as well. Currently, the game's economy is literally bursting due to a shortage of players earning through crafting professions. By properly setting priorities and using the information from today's guide, you can better understand how everything works in this project and decide which profession to pursue. This will help you secure a position in the market for highly sought-after regions and other crafting materials. That's all for my video. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please give it a like and share your impressions in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe. It really motivates me to produce new content faster and helps you to stay updated with notifications about new releases. Thank you in advance for your activity and see you very soon. Bye!